This is the day the dream come true. All those hours, sacrifices made. We dream of shaking the commissioner's hand with the hat.
They are ready to love Zion Williamson. Y'all ready? Here we go.
With the first pick, the New Orleans Pelicans select Zion Williamson.
Don't even seem real that I just shook his hand. I dreamed about this since I was 4.
The New York Knicks are on the clock.
The New York Knicks select R.J. Barrett from Toronto and Duke University.
And look at Zion.
Happy for her. That's my brother.
That's his old roommate.
You have to be proud. Very proud. I'm proud of your son.
Cameron Johnson just went 11th. How do you react to that news?
He went what?
11th
Cam
in the
Johnson
draft.
11th.
Yep, it's right on the screen right there.
Wow.
Who used to win most of the one-on-one games back at home in Canada?
I did. I'm not gonna let him answer that one. We're not gonna let him answer that one.
I'll say him because it's his day.
That's Austin Powers.
Oh, behave.
Future of the NBA is set and in good hands. We welcome in Malika Andrews, who I'm told is in a park, but looks like she's in a swamp in New Orleans. She's been there all week long. Obviously, it was a big night for Zion last night. What's on his schedule today, Malika?
To be clear, I haven't been in a swamp all week long, but it's a big day. Today is finally the day that Zion Williamson arrives in New Orleans. He is coming with his family, and up and down the I-10, which is the freeway that leads into New Orleans, there are signs that say, "Welcome home, Zion." So clearly this is a big day for the whole franchise. He will be meeting with the media for the first time in New Orleans later this afternoon, doing a press conference. And then tomorrow, he's doing a community event where fans are going to get to see him, and he's going to do some things with them for the first time. So the ball is finally in motion, and as the signs say, Zion is coming home.
And if there is not a brass band there to meet him, then New Orleans is doing it wrong. But I know that they will not let us down. You also had an opportunity to speak to the Pelicans GM, David Griffin. What was his biggest takeaway that he told you about Zion and this team he's built?
Yeah, so yesterday, David Griffin and the Pelicans front office obviously drafted Zion from the War Room, and it was really an emotional moment when they did so. And then it quickly turned when he saw Zion tearfully thanking his mother. It quickly turned to an emotional moment for him, too. He got a little misty talking about it. And what was so clear to me was just how much David Griffin cares about the guy that he is getting in Zion Williamson. He said multiple times, this guy is human. Make sure you know that. He is not coming in to be this franchise's savior. Allow him room to be an 18-year-old kid who needs to grow and learn how to win in the NBA.
Listen, the kid's known for a long time. He was going to go #1 overall, and he's known for about a month. It would probably be to New Orleans, and he was very endearing seeing him so emotional yesterday and thanking his mom. Malika Andrews joining us from New Orleans as Zion is headed to the Big Easy to finally be welcomed officially. Thanks, Malika. On SportsCenter, so prophecy fulfilled. Zion Williamson, as expected, a New Orleans Pelican after being selected #1 overall in last night's NBA draft. The Phenom, despite knowing the outcome for months, let's be real, was overcome with emotion when talking about his journey and his mom. And then even better, Matt, right? Like your dream comes true, and then you get to watch your teammate and friend, fellow Duke star R.J. Barrett, go #3 overall to the Knicks. They are the 5th pair of teammates to go in the top 3 since the NBA merger. In fact, Jay Will knows a little something about that. Squad goals as he and his fellow Dookie Mike Dunleavy went #2 and #3 respectively in the 2002 draft. Hey, Greeny. Hey, Jay.
All right, thank you. And Jay is back with us here, and he'll be with us all morning long on Get Up. And so let's go back over last night. Obviously, so much to react to, and we'll have 2 hours to do it once we get going. But what was one thing that really impressed you?
Just how the overall culture in New Orleans has changed drastically within 2 weeks. You know, when the Lakers job first came up, I said, hey, the Lakers should hire David Griffin. And now you're getting a chance to see why he is so special. Think about what the stress tolerance would have been if you were a Zion Williamson getting drafted to play with Anthony Davis, who was not happy, who didn't want to be there. Now you remove him away from the equation, and think about this team. Drew Holiday, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, all these guys are now rejuvenated because they had a hard time playing with LeBron James as well. So now it's a fresh start. Hey, let's get in where we can fit in, be young, be athletic. I actually want to watch Pelican games now. When was that the case ever?
Even with Anthony Davis at his very best and at their very best, this is the most interesting they've been since they moved to New Orleans. Are they a playoff team this year?
I think they're right there. I still think the West is wide open. The West is still a very challenging conference. But for a young team with their leadership in Drew Holiday, yes, they are right there.
All right, we're coming your way in just a few minutes. Let me run down the rundown for today. So much more to discuss about the draft at the top of the hour with Jay and Jalen Rose, Brian Windhorst all morning long. Plus, Woj is here to explain how teams used last night to set up a wild free agency period that is now right around the corner. Get Up comes your way in just a few minutes, but right now, let's get back up to Bristol.
Yay game.
This season,
Yes.
Jalen Rose, I
Yes.
promise.
Yes.
So, I was watching a program called Get Up this morning.
Get on up.
It had a friend of the show, Brian Windhorst, on the show.
Wendy.
And he had a very interesting proposal about the future of Kevin Durant. He said that there is a possibility that the Warriors sign Kevin Durant to a Supermax 5-year deal. He rehabs for a year, and then they work with Durant and Durant's team to trade him to his preferred destination instead of just losing him for nothing. What do you think about the possible sign and trade Kevin Durant?
So here's
proposal?
what makes it a win-win if it does take place, which I don't think it should, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Kevin Durant gets his 5th year and like $50 more million.
Yep.
And the Golden State Warriors don't lose him via free agency and not get anything in return.
Or nothing, which is essentially what's on the table.
So that's what makes it a win-win.
Right now, he could just decide, I'm going to play somewhere else.
But this theory that they're doing him a favor is inaccurate because any team would sign Kevin Durant to a maximum contract injured. Any team would.
Yes, there's no shortage of people that are in the Kevin Durant business.
Correct. So now here's what makes it tricky, and this is why I would tell the Golden State Warriors if my goal was to leave the entire time, that shouldn't have changed based on him getting injured, just like the destination shouldn't have changed based on him getting injured. I don't want them to be in control of whether I get traded to the destination that I want to or not.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to come back to this, oh, we can't find a way to make a deal done. That's one. But here's the most important thing. If you're KD and you're deciding to leave the Warriors, it ain't only about winning. Because if that's all it was about,
you stay with the Warriors.
He will stay there. If he's leaving, that means he's going to need some help. You can't recruit me from Golden State's roster under contract for 5 years to go run with you in New York or whatever your next destination is when you ain't there.
And here's another thing about this, which needs to be considered. If you're Kevin Durant, let's say you want to go to the Knicks, so you rehab for a year, and then the Warriors call up the Knicks, say, all right, let's work out a deal for Kevin Durant. You lose all of your negotiation power.
Correct.
If the Knicks are on the other end of the phone, knowing that you basically have to trade him here.
Correct. We just saw that happen with Anthony Davis deal. And also, but more importantly, again, I want to stress this. You can't recruit people to come play with you while you're still on the Golden State Warriors roster.
Kyrie, come sign with the Knicks. Trust me, I'll be there in a little bit. We'll work something out down the road.
Not gonna be able to do
down
it.
the road, it'll work out.
Not
Probably,
gonna be able to do it.
No, Kyrie, I mean, just go play with the Knicks. I know they're gonna be trash this year, but maybe I'll come next year.
You ready for this? In high school, I wore number 42. The reason why I wore 5 in college is because I was the 5th member to sign. C. Webb was 4th. I wasn't signing until I saw his signature on the piece of paper. Okay? So if I'm an NBA player and Kevin Durant is the property of the Golden State Warriors for 5 years and whatever amount of dollars, you can't tell me I'll meet you there.
Yeah, I'll be there. Don't worry about it.
It don't
I'll be
work
there.
like that.
No.
It don't work like that. And if you KD, you want to get to know your new situation, get to know your new players. Hopefully, if whatever situation he decides to choose, say it is the Knicks, Dennis Smith Jr., R.J. Barrett, Knox, Mitchell Robinson. You want to help nurture those guys even if you're not playing.
Don't forget about Trier. I love Trier.
And I like Trier as well. And so now you may go back into the lottery, add something to that, and add KD, plus get somebody to come run with y'all. Win, win, win.
We'll talk a lot about the future of Kevin Durant. We'll also talk a lot about the future of Kawhi Leonard. It was also discussed on Get Up this morning, but there's an interesting proposal there too. a 1-and-1 deal for Kawhi and the Raptors. It's kind of like a compromise. Say, hey, let's run this back. We can kind of bring back the same core. It'll be a 1-year deal. And after this year, then if you still don't want to leave, you still don't want to play here, then you can leave. Do you think that's on the table or that's something that could possibly happen?
Well, I think anything's on the table when you're as good as Kawhi Leonard. And so if I'm him, I'm not signing a 1-year deal. Not going to be able to do it.
Why not?
If I'm staying, I want 2 or 3. And I want a player option after 1. Different money, different deal. It just.
It's not your maximum salary, though.
Correct. But again, I'm not just doing a 1-and-1 because what if during that 1, unfortunately, like KD, you get hurt? Now all of a sudden you're looking for a new team. Because here's the reality. I'm not committing for a reason because I don't plan on being here long term. Right? And so if you KD, if you Kawhi, and you keep doing these 1-2-year deals, you let both sides clearly know that you're not being there for a long time. So now all of a sudden if something happens that upsets the apple cart, like you get injured, he's in the same situation that KD's in right now.
If he doesn't commit long-term to the Raptors, do they still treat the load management thing the same?
Yes, because they won a championship that way. So the one thing that has to get discussed when you're talking about him going back to Toronto is how they nurtured him back from an injury.
Yes, they did.
Where he felt like he got misdiagnosed by another team and only played 9 games.
They clearly did it right in Toronto.
Okay.
That's a good selling point.
So that medical staff earned his trust. We're going to get you there. And if you watch the playoffs, Kawhi was hobbled.
He was hurt.
He wasn't 100%.
He was hurt.
So they needed that load management. As a guy that was an MVP level player playing with another all-star like Kyle Lowry, they needed all of that going against a potential future quote-unquote super team in Philly and what we consider today's super team in the Golden State Warriors, obviously without KD and then losing Klay in Game 6.
It is now time for News That Matters. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen, one thing we don't do on this program is force topics.
Never.
So we have a segment.
We're not going to talk about Dak Prescott's contract?
No. We have a segment called Keep It Moving. If you want to talk about it, you say hit the brakes. If you don't, me, you, and Meth Van jump in the minivan and keep it moving. Are you ready, Mr. Rose?
Let's get it.
4-star recruit Terry Armstrong is bypassing college. Keep moving or hit the brakes.
Hit the brakes. Want to know what the young man's getting himself into.
He has decided to bypass college and turn pro like LaMelo has announced and like RJ Hampton has announced. Do you think this will be a trend until they get rid of the one and done rule?
I think playing professional ball after high school will continue to be a trend because college isn't for all young people. And athletically, it also is the same thing. If you have the opportunity to go play the sport you love and get paid to do it, they'll find you.
Mm-hmm.
If your goal is to make it to the NBA, they'll find you. They'll scout you. They'll watch your games. They'll break down your tape. They'll come visit. They'll find you. So I have no problems with it at all.
Next, there is some news about one of my favorite players in the National Basketball Association. Keep it moving or hit the brakes.
Is it Lance?
No.
Still hit the brakes.
Okay.
Because it's your favorite.
The
that
Thunder
makes me happy.
are making number 21 pick and, my God, Steven Adams available in trade talks. Why would they want to move Steven Adams?
He's a big that they can't duplicate on their roster and will leave a mega hole in their front line.
I love what Steven
him.
Adams brings to the table.
And also, I always felt like they should give him the ball more.
He can score.
I think he's underrated of what he can do. And if y'all going to give him up, then y'all must be getting an all-star big in return.
Absolutely. Next, a friend of the show had a major accomplishment. Keep moving or hit the brakes.
Oh, that's the homie. CC?
CC Sabathia became the 14th pitcher in MLB history.
Hit the brakes.
With over 250 wins and 3,000 strikeouts. Is he a Hall of Famer?
Yes, and only the third lefty to accomplish this feat.
Where did you get this information? What are you prepared? Are you prepared for the show?
Actually, you ready for this?
Are you prepared for the show?
I gotta modify something. The third black person to do it.
Did you just confuse
that says a lot.
Left-handed people with black people?
No, I knew he was the third to do it, but I got confused whether it was left-handed or African American.
Now you're back. I thought you were doing research and providing facts, but you get them wrong. That's how you do it. Next, someone else, not named Jalen, is having a lot of children named after them. Keep moving and hit the brakes.
Oh, this is important to me. Hit the brakes.
Giannis Antetokounmpo sparked a 662% increase in babies named Giannis. Do you think Giannis will become a trend like Jalen?
Yes. He's a much better basketball player.
Way better basketball player. He
So
plays defense.
And he has a unique name. I absolutely think when we look up in 20 years, they're going to be Giannis's playing in the NBA, in the NFL, just like we see Jalen's.
Well, you know Kobe White in the draft?
I do.
Do you know what his name is?
Kobe White.
Alec Jacoby White. Guess who my favorite player is in the draft? My guy. Moving on. A pitcher pitched hurt. Keep moving or hit the brakes.
I need to hit the brakes on this one.
You hit the brakes on everything today.
I know.
Of all the ones in the world, you're going to hit the brakes on this one?
Yeah.
I thought we didn't force topics.
We're not forcing
This is a no-brainer to keep moving on. You know what? I'm vetoing that. We're keeping it moving.
Okay. I'm carrying a bat. Of course I'm going to say hit the brakes on a baseball topic.
They didn't even put up the graphic. There we go. Next, we have some news about the cast of Space Jam 2. Keep it moving or hit the brakes.
Keep it moving for now. We're going to talk about that the entire summer. I'm pretty sure, right?
Terrible company Ashley Madison has released a list of the most cheatingest cities in the United States.
Got to hit the brakes on this.
If
This
you don't
is
know
about
about
to be
Ashley Madison,
controversial.
Ashley Madison is a website that hooks up married people with other married people to have affairs. That's the website. That's what they do for a living. Take a look. Number 1, Orlando. Newark, New Jersey, St. Louis, Pittsburgh, and Fremont, California. I want to say Orlando is most likely just Tiger Woods related. It's probably just Tiger. That's probably just Tiger.
And Newark is just for people that don't want to be in New York.
Yeah, they actually live in New York. They go to Newark to do their dirt.
Exactly.
That's what's going on there.
There
We know
you
what's
go.
going on,
There
Ashley
you
Madison.
go.
When we come back, we'll get back to the NBA draft and Zion Williamson.
Don't let me catch you with a profile on Ashley Madison.
No chance.